The following presentation is brought to you by Discovery Education, leading the world of digital and video learning. Discovery Education, connect to a world of learning.
It is one of the most extraordinary transformations of our time. China. Just a generation ago, a poor and isolated land. Now it's home to the fastest growing economy in the world. A country long in the grip of communism is now devoted to private enterprise.
This is what we had to do for the ordinary people of China to become richer.
This new economic superpower is taking on the West.
So I think to have eBay as our rival is good for us, but it might be a disaster for eBay.
But China's surging economy has a dark side.
For counterfeiters, everything is about money and nothing else.
Frankly, I know my life isn't worth a penny to society.
Can China keep moving forward, or will the forces of change tear it apart? The city of Chongqing, a sprawling metropolis of 7 million people. It's the scene of one of the latest chapters in China's remarkable economic rise. Back in the 1980s, China's Communist Party decided to permit the return of private enterprise. In cities along the coast, thousands of new factories sprang up, fueling an economic boom. Now, China's trying to extend that boom to the interior of the country, to places like Chongqing. The government is pouring in money to improve and modernize the city. Chongqing today is a city on the move, a place where if you're smart enough and tough enough, you can get rich. Like the man who lives here, secluded high above the city. His name is Zhuo Zongshan. Zhuo is one of the richest men in China. He's a charter member of China's new business elite, a self-made man with a powerful will to succeed.
My family and I were ordinary people. In the eyes of Westerners, we would be considered very poor. When I had the opportunity, I cherished it and worked hard.
When China's leaders allowed the return of private enterprise, Zhuo was ready to make his move. His home is a monument to his success. Zhuo's palatial estate is tended by a private staff of more than 60. The interior of his sprawling mansion recalls the splendor of old Europe. On his manicured grounds, he keeps black swans and an assortment of animals. English thoroughbreds. And Zhuo's special passion, a collection of pedigreed dogs, housed in kennels kept immaculately clean. For most of the year, Zhuo lives here alone. His wife works for him in the United States, where she lives with their young son.
This way, I have more time to work, because I'm by myself and I have nothing to worry about. At night, I have a lot of time for work. I work on Sundays too. Work has become a habit for me. I guess that's just the way I am.
Down the hill is the company that made Zhuo Zongshen so rich. A company he named for himself, Zongshen Motorcycle Group. Zongshen is one of a large number of successful private companies started by Chinese entrepreneurs over the past 20 years. For now, most of Zongshen's motorcycles are sold in Asia, but Zhuo has his sights set on expanding his market. And to reach that goal, he expects total dedication. For the kitchen workers, some motivation. Since its founding in 1992, Zongshen has grown from a small workshop into a company with more than 18,000 employees. One reason for the company's success is that factory wages in China are much lower than in Europe or North America. But that's not the only reason. The company goes to great lengths to promote a competitive spirit. Zhuo demands the best from his workers, and the best from his managers too.
你啥子理事哦？你啥子嘛你？你又去理1个月，你再研究1个月。他开头是说要把10类做拿来做，10类做完了还是不做。他又说要把10外做完了来做，10外做完了过后，他说那个好，现在季节已经过了，要到下半年秋天才能摘了，还是不能做。我日的嘛，我听你们说。 我听你们说，早都日的嘛饿死了，这听你们说。
But while private companies like Zongshen have been the driving force of China's economic surge, the country has not gone completely capitalist. Take the Chinese auto industry. The world's biggest private automakers have eagerly set up joint ventures with Chinese manufacturers. But China's biggest auto companies are still government-owned. In fact, state-owned enterprises still produce more than 1/3 of China's economic output. This curious mix of communism and capitalism has raised the standard of living for hundreds of millions of people. The most important holiday in the Chinese calendar is the Lunar New Year celebration. It's a time when people reflect on the year that's passed and hope for good fortune in the year to come. All over China, people go home to be with their families. Zongshen motorcycle employee Yang Shuibin is getting a ride home on a bus provided by the company.
It's the new year, and we're going back home to visit our families. It's once a year, and I'm very happy.
Yang and his wife, Liu Xiaoqin, are looking forward to something special in the new year.
My wife is 2 months pregnant. I'm really happy. I'm going to be a father soon.
Migrant workers like Yang are at the heart of China's astounding economic rise. Their story is a human drama of almost unimaginable scale. Since the 1980s, more than 100 million peasants have left the countryside and poured into the cities in search of work. It is the largest mass migration in human history. Uprooted from everything familiar, the migrant workers must adapt to a strange new world, not knowing if it will bring them comfort or pain. Yan Shui-bin and his wife Liu Shaoqin grew up here in the tiny village of Longtou. It was isolated for generations until this new road was finished just a few months ago. The Yang and Liu families have gathered together for a New Year's feast. Despite China's rise as a manufacturing power, rural families like the Yangs and Lius still comprise more than 700 million of China's 1.3 billion people. The kitchen is in the Yan family's old house. They just built a new one next door, paid for in part by the money Yan Shui-bin sends home from his job in the motorcycle factory. Many farmers are earning more than they did a generation ago. The state relaxed its tight controls over agriculture, and now farmers can grow and sell what they want. Reforms like these, along with the money sent home by migrant workers, have helped lift some 200 million people out of poverty over a span of just 25 years.
There have been really big changes these past few years. I'm happy. I feel very happy to see that my parents are okay. Mom and Dad are getting old, but we have to go out to work. My only regret is I can't be home every day to take care of them.
For the family of Yan Shui-bin, the new economy has brought a more comfortable life. But not everyone in the countryside is happy. Some farmers are still languishing in poverty, and even those who are doing better resent the fact that people in the cities earn so much more than they do. And in many places, farmers are being pushed off the land to make way for development schemes, stirring anger and even violent protests. This riot took place in Shengyou, a village in northern China. In recent years, there have been tens of thousands of rural protests all over the country. China's top leaders concede that if they can't reduce the tensions in the countryside, China's economic future is at risk. Shanghai. For the very first time, a Grand Prix motorcycle race is being held in China. The city has built a brand new Formula One racetrack. Motorcycle magnate Zhuo Zongchen is here to cheer on his company's racing team. Another millionaire is here too, Jack Ma, who's leading China's bid for supremacy in the digital age. Ma's company Taobao.com is the corporate sponsor of the race. Its logo is